How's it going, guys? It's Mr. Lone Wolf, and today, yeah, they've finally released this new game. It's called Expeditions, a Mudrunner game. I'm just going to call it Expeditions from now on. But yeah, I've had a little go on it. See, look, there's a dinosaur bones. I said years ago they should have dinosaurs in this kind of game. I admit, it's not strictly SnowRunner, but it's close. It's a Mudrunner game. Yeah, there's main menu. Click empty slot. That's what she said. Would you like to start a new game? Oh yeah, no, would you like to start the tutorial again? I started the game, did the tutorial. I got all the footage for it, but after doing the first mission, I just decided I'm going back to the main menu, deleting my save, and then just starting again, because the first one is this tutorial, which I'm going to go through it just because it's there and I may as well. And then yeah, I went and did a mission. I just thought, yeah, it was all a little bit scruffy and faffy with the footage. It was kind of like the blind leading the blind. I was trying to figure it out as I'm going along as well. So yeah, it was just wasn't very smooth or fluid. Yeah, so it's weird because like when you start, the game tells you to do things as simple as like press R2, which is the accelerator. But then throughout some of the things, menus in the game, it's not very clear about how it all works and everything. It's just sort of funny that it sort of holds your hand with something as simple as like squeeze R2 to do the accelerator. But then all the inner workings of the game and the menus, it's like, nah, you'll figure it out. Yeah, but when you start the tutorial, kind of set off down the road again. It's just telling you like press R2, you can go into all-wheel drive and whatnot. You drive along here. This is the actual first map. I believe it's called Colorado. But again, we're on the tutorial, so I've just drove past what is the main garage. It's telling me now, yeah, how to put all-wheel drive on. And just a quick note, because it says here, press L1 to bring up the menu. If you go in, it throws me right off, because on SnowRunner, you have to press, sorry, L1. With the game when you originally start it, and it's the same with the tutorial for me, you have to press R1 to bring like the gearbox up and put all-wheel drive and all that, which on SnowRunner it's L1. But if you go into the controller settings, you can swap L1 and R1 over. So I'm back to using L1 that kind of brings up the gearbox and to change gear and yeah, do all-wheel drive, diff locks, etc. And then now I press R1 to bring that menu up in the bottom left, which again, originally it's L1 to do that. And that, it's alright, it's kind of a quicker way I suppose than SnowRunner of being able to fix stuff. You just kind of hold, well in my case now, R1 down. It brings the menu up and then you can kind of use the left analog stick to select which bit of equipment you kind of want to repair and whatever. Yeah, for now though it's just sort of making me drive through progressively more difficult terrain. It then said at some point put your diffs on, which I did, but to be honest, driving through there, you don't really need to. You kind of have to just to entertain the game. Oh yeah, just quickly as well, when you swap L1 and R1, like for example it was telling me to bring up the gearbox menu, I was pressing L1, but you have to tap R1. It's just the tutorial's obviously programmed with like the original controller settings in mind, so I'm just throwing that out there because you might think for a second like, what, why is it not skipping past the menu? Just press the other L1 R1 button. Yeah, so you get there. When I got to that orange box, you click on it and it brings up a few items. I just click them and put them all in my inventory, which I think was the general idea anyway. And then yeah, reverse. One nice thing I do like about this game that's a bit of an improvement is you can just hold L2 and reverse without having to keep dropping it into, like, manually putting it in reverse every time, which I'm pretty certain SnowRunner doesn't do, unless I've already forgot. 4 years and it was gone in an instant. Yeah, this is your tyre pressure menu, which again is something new. I've had a little go with it. It might be a bit more nuanced. I've not really noticed like a night and day difference or anything. But if you press left on the D-pad, I believe it is, or is it down on the down on the D-pad, yeah, it brings up your like just the amount of air in your tyres, which you've got 3 options basically: fully inflated, medium, and then pretty low. And then yeah, this is the menu. It tells you to press L1, but again I'm holding R1 because I've switched them. And then you can see now, like, you sort of move it around the left analog stick, but you can see how it's flashing to add fuel. And then I just kept mashing X. it kept filling up to 140 and kept immediately dropping to 139. But then, as I kept mashing it, it wasn't costing me a litre every time. It just, yeah, the game doesn't want to have it nice and neatly rounded off on 140. It immediately drops it. This is like, again, same menu like to access, but you can see how I'm moving the left analog stick around, and it's moving that little red box like between all the different, you got the engine, gearbox, fuel, suspension, tyres, etc. Pretty much the same as Snowrunner in that regard, just a slightly different way of accessing it all. And then, yeah, drive back over to the garage, really. Drive into that square, it says mission complete. Oh yeah, and then it's saying drop a memory card off, but you just drive to that square, press X, and it automatically does it. And then yeah, expedition success, first trip, although like I say, that's the tutorial. But I assume it's worth completing, because it says it gave me 3,000. If you look in the top right, have I got about 33,000 now? I'll be honest, my money was going, well, I'd say up and down, mostly down kind of tonight. I've done a couple of the missions. I kind of was buying things and building things. I wasn't really realising kind of what I was doing and what was going on. So, yeah, I'm kind of down on money a bit. However, I believe it's called like the Supreme Edition of this game or something. So I got some free vehicles, which I'll get into soon. Yeah, when you go back to the headquarters, you can see you've got like the three, you've got Colorado, Arizona, and then the Appalachians, I assume, Appalachian Mountains or something. Yeah, I clicked on Colorado, and then you can see on the left, there was 5 things that were locked, but there's now 4. The first one at the top, first expedition, I can access. The other 4 missions I can't. So, click on it. It says prepayment 1,500. So you need 1,500 to do the mission, but you'll get paid 2 grand. You need 1,500 because you've got to buy like jack screws and stuff. Yeah, so access the mission. Now you've got a list of trucks here. It seems I can take up to 4. That's what she said. And then the other truck specialist thing, I won't worry about that for now, because 1, I haven't got one, and 2, it just, yeah, I've not really looked into it too much myself, because it seems to be a bit overcomplicated. Yeah, so I'm now in the garage to pick a truck to start this mission, and as you can see as I'm scrolling down, I've got like the TUZ Action, but then the TUZ Action SE, and this, the Step 310 SE, and there's a normal one. I've also got a Don 71 and a Don 71 SE, and then a Lodestar 1700 SE and a normal one. So, as I've got like the Supreme Edition of the game, I believe it's called like the Pioneer Pack or something. It's just given me a list of trucks, which you must get the normal trucks in the game, but then it's given me like another version of them that's called like the SE version. Yeah, so then you click on the truck. I'm choosing this Action. The reason why is because it's the stock one. It's just the Action. It's not the SE. The SEs, they seem to have a little bit more power. Maybe they've got like an upgraded engine or something. So, yeah, I've clicked on the Action, gone to the inventory menu, and you need to equip jack screws. And then the other ones, the portable anchor things, it's worth equipping them as well, personally. But it doesn't specifically like force you to. And just throwing it out there as well, I equipped like a radio station thing, which you do need for this mission, but I just accessed the inventory and dropped it back off at the garage, because part of this first expedition mission you actually go and pick this radio station thing up, so I'd just rather do it that way really. I kind of accidentally put the radio station in my cargo bed and then started the mission. Yeah, so I'm driving along in expeditions. Oh, I missed that a little bit. Access the main menu is like the mini maps are the big, on PlayStation anyway, like the big fat middle button. Yeah, and it's saying I've got to drive over to there, which as you can see is pretty just down the road for this one. Yeah, so like I say, this truck I've got is the Action, which is from Snowrunner. It's the stock version, so I believe whatever version of this game you've got, you should have this truck. For what it's worth, this one already comes equipped with a sideboard bed thing. The SE edition doesn't. I'm sure I can go into the menu and equip one, but I'm just throwing it out there that you need a sideboard for this mission because you've got to load some stuff in the cargo bay. This is kind of a new thing, but I will, like, back on Mudrunner years ago, like a decade ago or more really, yeah, you used to have markers like this to show you how deep the water is. But what that's doing, if you look in like the bottom near the left, it says devices. So if I press left on the D-pad, it brings up a menu, and one of them is an echo sensor thing, which if you fire it off near water, it then shows you all those markers to show you how deep the water is. Carried on driving forward. I got to like this little area where it says trade. You can see I've clicked on it. There was just a radio station thing there, so I've now equipped that to my sideboard bed, which is why there's like that thing there, and it's all ratchet strapped in and all the rest of it. And then yeah, it's just telling me to follow these little blue markers. You know, a little bit if you played SnowRunner, a bit like the contests. Just go to the next marker and the next marker. So yeah, this is that devices menu again, and over to the right on it, I've got a drone. The drone's alright. It feels a little bit slow. Like, I hope we can upgrade it to some kind of racing drone later. It just, you know, to turn it left and right, it feels like it takes forever. Yeah, but it wants you to fly kind of up to the top of this mountain, really. There's a big blue circle, you kind of fly the drone at it. I didn't even realise you had to do that. I don't know, I kind of went into autopilot mode and just started flying the drone out of the circle and was going to try and smash it into the ground, and then I completed that bit of the mission. Yeah, so then it just after that, go back to your truck, carry on driving to the next blue checkpoints, and then it says at this point, stage completed. It's telling me about the winch, which you can press triangle. Thankfully, this is one thing they haven't changed completely, but they have a bit. I'll explain. Yeah, if you can just fire a winch out though with a triangle button, or again on PlayStation. But to access the actual winch, you've got to press left on the D-pad again and enter that devices option and then go to the top. It's a little bit more faffy, but it's one of them, I suppose. If you play, eventually the new way it's all laid out will become like muscle memory, but at the minute it's funny because it's too much of a similar game to SnowRunner to suddenly change all the way things work. Like, you know, if say I was playing that Isle of Man TT game, that's just a different game, so you have kind of no muscle memory following on to that game or whatever. But yeah, with this it's so similar to SnowRunner, but there's a fair amount of the controls are like a bit different, and it's sort of a bit confusing at the minute. Yeah, so carry on. I just drove up around to where it's basically where I just landed the drone earlier. I used my winch to a tree to kind of climb up a little rock ledge, which I assume that's what the game wanted you to do, because that's at the point where it mentions the winch. Yeah, carried on up to the top of the mountain, clicked X and dropped that radio station off, which it built like a little, it's like a solar panel-y radio thing sticking out. And then now, for the next bit of the mission, that's the garage I started from. And these little, there's like little ticks or whatever, they're just all the little gateways, you know, like the little sections I've just driven through. But what it says is to scan that area. You can see like the big yellow circle on the mini-map. But instead of driving over there, again, access your devices left on the D-pad, and then you go left over on that menu, you've got these binoculars. So I can zoom right in. There's an airdrop over there, which, I don't know, the game seems to be going with this theme that they've airdropped things, so there's just random crates around the map, if you know what I mean, that you drive up to them and they've got supplies in them. Some might have fuel, repairs, jack screws, etc. You get the idea. Right, now it wants me to access the drone again, and it's saying to explore undiscovered areas, and you see within this circle, and you see like most of the map in the circle is unshaded, but you can see these little shaded bits. It's that it wants me to fly over, and again, this is why I restarted the whole game after this, because it wasn't very clear on that really. So I started flying the drone around thinking, like, if you look in the top right, there's like a percentage of discovered area, and I got it up to about 97%, but I was flying around thinking, well, I don't really get what it wants me to do. Again, I kind of figured it out the long hard way, that's what she said. Yeah, so again, I just thought I'll just start the mission again, really, because it's just far cleaner. So I kind of knew to fly over to that middle bit and then start heading this way, because when I looked at the map, this was like the shaded area. And you can see eventually it gets to 100% in the top right corner. It says complete, and then I just press circle, I believe, just get out the drone, and it just automatically jumps back to your truck. Discovery. Anytime during the expedition, you can recover your vehicle to the garage, which is basically, it's bordering on another tutorial really. So you go on your mini-map, press X on the garage, which has got like a H this time, and then it says recovery free, and you press triangle. In the garage, it says on a lot of the vehicles recovery cost like 4 grand, etc. But it keeps saying free for me. I'm not 100% sure yet if that's like going to end after a certain amount of missions, or if that's free on this map so far. But I've recovered a few times and it's not charging me 4 grand a time, thankfully, otherwise I'd have run out of money pretty quick. Yeah, once you recover to the garage, for whatever reason, it just wants you to drive forward and drive into these boxes, really. And it says park your truck. Yeah, expedition success, first expedition, 2,000 it paid me. This is a summary of it, like how much time it took me, distance, fuel used, damage taken. First expedition, 2,500, is it? Is that items sold? Yeah, I believe when you equip things like the jack screws and the portable winch, or whatever they are, I think after you've finished a mission, it sells everything you didn't use. So it just seems to keep saying like, yeah, items sold, etc. And then yeah, I pressed back to the headquarters and it loads back up to this, which you've got, Little Colorado, Arizona and the Carpathians. You can see there's 1 out of 5 expeditions done on Little Colorado, so this is obviously like a bit of a warm-up map really. And then the other 2 regions have got like 37 missions per region. So now when I click on Little Colorado, you can see all the other 4 missions are now unlocked. It's got a tick next to first expedition. And this, by the way, is the menu. I did find a loaf. He's in here somewhere. Yeah, you've got to complete a mission to unlock him, which is fair, because if you have him straight away, whole game would be done, wouldn't it? I'd be loading up now saying, yeah, I've finished, 100%. Yeah, that's about it. I'll stop here, because I'm going to... Well, I have to clone it now, because I'm yapping on too long. I'll stop the video here, because that's like a first look, and then I'm going to do another video of like the next mission I did. But yeah, anyway, so far so good. A little bit of a rough start, because it was like the menu's a bit different and all the rest of it, but we'll see. We'll get there. But yeah, I've just cloned the clip to show you the loaf twice, so I've got enough room to yap away. Yeah, but that's about it for today. I hope you enjoyed. Hope that helps. Thanks for watching. Get yourself a loaf in a different game, because he's a goddamn beast. And I'll be back soon.